I was not lying or even slightly bending the truth in that title. Hearthstone's Book of Mercenary solo adventures in its current state is 100% uncompletable by any means whatsoever, and I'm gonna show you why. For some quick context, Book of Mercenaries is very similar to the other solo adventures. You face off against a short series of AI opponents, and as you move up the ladder, they get harder and harder. In Mercenaries, you have to beat 8 of them to complete one chapter. Each chapter has you exclusively playing a single class, and there is a corresponding chapter for every single class in the game, except for Death Knight, because I don't think that he existed back then. In other words, if you want to fully complete this mode, it's gonna take a long time, because there is a huge amount of content, especially when you consider there are bosses with gigantic health pools, there are bosses that can only realistically be defeated by fatigue, and there's even like a robust story with tons of dialogue that plays out between and during matches. I don't mean to say this is a bad experience necessarily, but it's certainly time consuming. And this makes it all the more devastating when a player makes it all the way to the final class and more than halfway through that class's challenges only to be met with an unclearable hurdle. And here it is. I present to you the boar puzzle. In this encounter, you're given a specific hand and board state, and you're tasked with finding exact lethal damage in a single turn. The only way to do that is to squeeze out 7 of these hogs and kill them all. Once you do that, this card's effect will go off and you'll be rewarded with a weapon that has just enough attack to finish the job. The old strategy to actually get this done was to use the card Snowfall Graveyard to ensure that every single death rattle effect you trigger goes off twice, meaning you can duplicate more boars with this card and deal more damage to minions with this card. Damage to minions is important because it helps you trigger all the effects you need while killing the opponent's Hoarding Drake for more mana, and duplicating boars is important because that's the entire object of the puzzle. So altogether, you prep out the Snowfall Graveyard, slam down some boars and some exploding sheep, then you backstab the dragon so it dies in the upcoming sheep explosion, and detonate that explosion with Terran Gorefiend. Once he enters the field, he kills all your minions, then dies to the resulting double explosion, summoning 2 copies of each minion he killed thanks to Snowfall Graveyard. Then you can just coin out the extortion on the exploding sheep, and that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 boars total, which is more than 7. So you get the giant weapon, you hit the guy in the face, and you win. You did it. When it's working as intended, it's a pretty well-designed puzzle that makes you think hard about the order that you play the cards and how they interact with each other. But the problem is, as of patch 29 point whatever, Snowfall Graveyard costs 5 mana, not the original 3. And this change to Snowfall in PvP formats has followed the card into solo adventures as well. Therefore, following the original steps to solve the puzzle, you will not have enough mana to summon Terran Gorefiend. You'll be 1 off, even if you played perfectly, down to the card. You can imagine how frustrating this information was for me to learn after 3 hours of trying to solve the puzzle with the existing tools, and after completing every other single challenge involved with Mercenaries up to this point. After scouring YouTube and YouTube comments for an updated solution, it became clear that I was not the only person that was permanently stuck here, and I took it upon myself to report the bug, only to find out that Hearthstone doesn't have a traditional bug report system. It has a bug report forum, where I found a post detailing the exact problem I'm talking about with like a million comments made by people in my exact same situation. So partly out of human interest and partly out of pure pettiness, I made this video to hopefully increase attention on the issue just a little bit more, because apparently the attention this post received on the bug report forum was just not enough to get this resolved. I know absolutely nothing about coding, so take this with a grain of salt, but it seems like a relatively simple problem to fix, I think. And I'm aware that Blizzard is a for-profit business and free-to-play solo content might not be high on the priority list, but it still definitely matters to a lot of players, including myself. So if you want to help drum up some attention, I certainly don't mind cynically cashing in on some righteous, angry YouTube video likes, but I think the best way to do this would be to go to the description where I've linked the post on the bug report forum. If you have an extra 2 minutes to like the post and leave a random comment on it, like, who knows, maybe it really is just a simple problem that Blizzard doesn't know about. But if you don't feel like doing all that, at the very least, I hope you got some cool trivia out of this whole thing. I hope you liked the video, all that good stuff. I hope they fix it, I guess.